Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne. This is a short message. What is a false teacher? Um, I uh, I don't know what a false teacher is. I know plenty of people who teach things that are false, uh, but I can understand for over 20 years I've believed in a post-tribulation rapture. And I've taught that, and I've been vocal about that and angry about people who believed in a pre-tribulation rapture. And I've come to believe the pre-tribulation rapture now. Did that make me a false teacher for those 20 years when I was sharing the post-tribulation rapture? Did that make me a false teacher, teaching something that was false? Um, I'm not sure personally, as a teacher myself, I'm not sure that there's many people who teach error on purpose. I could assume that there's some people who teach the prosperity doctrine that understand that it's false. I could assume that there could be some, but I think the majority of people who teach the prosperity doctrine actually believe in it. And it actually works for them because they're millionaires and they've got $1 million homes and Learjets and all sorts of trappings of the world. And they believe that God prospers those he loves. And if you're diligent, he'll prosper you. And their riches seem to indicate that their doctrine is true. I'm not sure if there's many of them who preach that, which I'd call a false teaching. Not many of them actually knowingly are preaching a false doctrine. I believe that they believe it to be true themselves. So does that really make them a false teacher? It may make them a false teacher in our opinion, but if they're not teaching something false on purpose, does that really make them a false teacher? We've got to be careful in this world of judging people. We've got to be careful when pointing the finger at people and labeling them as false prophets and false teachers. A false prophet, the um, simplest definition of a false prophet for me is someone who leads you to serve another god, whether that be money, whether that be themselves, or something else. They lead you away from God. They lead you to serve something other than God, and many times that's money, or many times it can be themselves. I know of one prophet who's got a following that their following is so loyal that their followers will put a curse on you if you speak out against her. And that's a type of false prophet, having a loyal following like that. But false teachers, I'm not sure that there's many of them that exist. There's many people that exist that teach error, that teach things that are false, but I'm not sure if the people are aware that they're teaching error. I understand things a little as a person who calls myself a teacher. I understand that I only teach what I believe, and I can only teach what I understand to be true. And when I'm in error, when I'm teaching something or agreeing with something that's in error, does that make me a false teacher? Because I don't believe it does. I don't believe it personally does. And you could call me a false teacher for teaching this. But I think we need to be careful about pointing fingers at people and calling them false teachers. And what you can do for someone who you believe is a false teacher is you can send them a message and humbly, with grace and love, try and bring correction to them. Or you can pray for them that they would see the light, that God would illuminate them according to their error, and you can pray and fast for them. But just merely posting on Facebook and saying such and such is a false teacher, I don't know if it does anyone any good. Just creates fear in people and defames someone's name, and it's not good. So I just wanted to get on here and share that it's possible to teach something that's in error. I would like to be in a position where I didn't believe any error. I'd like to be in a position where everything I believe and teach is true. But it was a major shock to me to be wrong about the tribulation and the pre-tribulation rapture, and for years I was so insistent that the tribulation came first, and then came the second coming of Christ, and I firmly believe that, and now I don't. And so you could say I was teaching error all of those years, but I wouldn't call myself a false teacher. And I think to be a false teacher, you'd have to be teaching something false and knowing that you're teaching something false. And as a teacher who's got a teacher's heart, I believe that you try and teach the truth, and you teach what you believe in. Even if you passionately believe something to be true, like the prosperity doctrine, and you're teaching it, I can't necessarily call the prosperity teachers false teachers. And that's just my take on it. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'd be happy if you liked this and you posted a comment. I'd love to hear your comments. God bless.